tablets, bird Anzu, the enemy.
Bolyán A. Short summary. Cycle of Kumarbi is Prologue of Gilgames. Key, Du Mused, 2026. Abstract. The following narrative synthesizes the mythological and historical connections between the Kumarbi cycle, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and the Osirian archetype. Text. The Architect of Kings, from Uruk to Tyre. To understand the foundations of the Gilgamesh epic, one must look beyond the walls of Uruk to the older, cosmic architecture of the Kumarbi cycle. The transition of power from the celestial to the mortal is no mere accident, it is a calculated mythological inheritance. The historical anchor for this transmission is found in the testimonies of antiquity. Herodotus, documenting the deep chronology of the Levant, writes, "I visited also Tyre in Phoenicia, where I heard that there was a temple therein dedicated to Heracles, and that it was built at the same time that the city was founded, and that the foundation of the city was 2,300 years ago." Herodotus, The Histories, 2.44. If we accept this dating, placing the founding of Tyre around 2750 BC, you find a precise alignment with the reign of Enmerkar, the king of Uruk. Following the collapse of the Uruk period, Enmerkar emerged as the restorer of civilization, mirroring the plight of Egypt as it struggled with its own loss of sovereign independence. Enmerkar, driven out of Uruk, moved west to build the fortified walls of Tyre, evolving into Melkarth, divine king whose legend traveled the Mediterranean. The shadow of the fisherman. The mythos of Gilgamesh is fundamentally an Orstyen struggle for identity. His bond with Enkidu is not merely friendship, it is a visceral recognition of a mirror soul. He touched his heart, but it did not beat. He covered his friend's face like a bride. He roared like a lioness robbed of her cubs. Epic of Gilgamesh, Tablet 8. This intensity is fueled by Gilgamesh's rejection of Inanna, an act rooted in the trauma of his father, Du Mused the fisherman. Regarding her cruelty toward the fisherman, Gilgamesh declares, "What bridegroom did you love forever? Which of your shepherds pleased you for all time? You loved the shepherd Du Mused, and for him you ordained wailing year after year." Epic of Gilgamesh, Tablet 6. Ancient clay tablets from Quora reveal that Du Mused and Gilgamesh share a lineage. Du Mused's descent into the underworld as sacrifice of self parallels the Osirian myth. Just as Isis seeks the dismembered Osiris, the sister consort of Du Mused assumes his burden, descending to the underworld for 6 months annually to sustain his life. In this light, Gilgamesh is the Horus figure, the royal scion born from the cycle of death and resurrection. The Sumerian king list simply synthesized the rival Egyptian Horus-Osiris myth with the Uruk-based Du Mused cycle. This explains the duality of Du Mused, the pastoral king, and the post-flood fisherman, the literal reflection of the Egyptian Osiris. The Anzu coup and the Kumarbi legacy. In the Kumarbi cycle, the character of Alelu, Enmerkar, is deposed by his own cupbearer turned general, Lugalbanda. The term Lugal denotes a totalizing ambition, a desire to seize the spiritual heart of Mesopotamia, Nippur, in the name of Anu. Lugalbanda's rise is facilitated by his discovery of the Anzu bird's nest. Anzu is the thief of the tablets of destiny, the agent of chaos. The Kumarbi narrative records how the hero from Quora, Kumar, defeats the Anzu bird. This is a brilliant metaphor, the castration of the Anzu-Anu power structure. In the Osirian myth, the phallus of the god is consumed by a fish. Similarly, Du Mused, or his surrogate, Ninurta-Urta, castrates the divine bird Anzu. This convergence where Kumarbi, a hermaphroditic deity, acts as both the warrior and the pregnant creator mirrors the fluidity of the Hittite era. For the Hittites, the gender binary was not an obstacle, the feminine Lil, as in Enlil, remained a central divine pillar, reflective of the reverence for Cybele and the matriarchal wisdom of Anatolia. Summary. Enmerkar, the Proto-Melkart, built the walls of Tyre strong enough to ensure that no opportunistic Lugal could seize his throne again. By exporting the Uruk legend to the Mediterranean, he ensured that the story of the lost king, the sacrificial fisherman, and the rise of the divine sun would echo long after the ziggurats of Sumer had turned to dust. Gilgamesh, therefore, is not the beginning, he is the inevitable conclusion of a cosmic drama that began with a bird, a fish, and a king who had to lose his city to conquer history. Sources: 1. Kumarbi, 2. Gilgames, 3. Osiris. Cycles. 4. Herodotus, Historiae. 5. Bolyán Anita, proved, Osiris Dumuzid and Heracles Gilgames. Urukan Redominance. A 2750 BC, 2026. 6. Inanna and Dumuzid, fishermen. Note, there are two Dumuzids, the pastor and the fisherman, from Quara. The earlier clay tablets claim that Gilgames was Dumuzid's son. The Sumerian text Dumuzid and Inanna immortalizes this sibling sacrifice as follows. My brother, I will go to the netherworld for you, I will replace you. In the netherworld, I will stay for you for half the year, and you shall stay for half the year. Source: the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature, Xlo. 7. For further exploration, I recommend this video, which discusses this tragic story of Sumerian mythology, Inanna's descent to the underworld and the fate of Dumuzid, https://www.youtube.com. This video summarizes Inanna's descent into the underworld and the dramatic process that led to the shared fate of Dumuzid and Inanna. 8. Mesopotamian tradition, specifically the Sumerian king list, SKL, distinguishes between two separate figures named Dumuzid. 1. Dumuzid the shepherd, antediluvian. Role: an antediluvian king of the city of Bad Tibera. Tradition: he is the divine figure often associated with fertility and the sacred marriage to the goddess Inanna. Source: the Sumerian king list records his reign as lasting 36,000 years before the Great Flood. 2. Dumuzid the fisherman, post-flood. Role: an early king of Uruk in the post-flood period. Origin: he is described as originating from the nearby village city of Quara. Source: he appears in the Sumerian king list as the successor to Lugalbanda in the first dynasty of Uruk. The Sumerian king list, Xlo 2.1.1. The primary record for the dynasties of Uruk and the antediluvian kings of Bad Tibera. Black, J. Green, A. Gods, Demons, and Symbols of Ancient Mesopotamia, an illustrated dictionary. University of Chicago, Institute for the Study of Ancient Cultures, the Gilgamesh Epic and Old Testament Parallels. Melamu Project, MELAMMU-PROJECT.EU Database of Mesopotamian Myths and Historical Figures, specifically the entries regarding Dumuzi and royal lineage. World History Encyclopedia, resources on the tablet of King Lugalbanda.